Hi everyone, here's a guide for the Bounty Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter is generally considered to be the best class to play in bounties if you want to have fast, efficient runs, and this is mainly because of Multishot. Multishot is a very nice AoE clearing skill that also does formidable single target damage for the bosses, and overall you have nice mobility, you don't have to rely on any cooldowns, and it just works really well for that content. So a lot of people actually make Demon Hunters specifically for that purpose, and I want to show you how and what you need. It's not very much. So you can do this with like relatively low Paragon and pretty bad gear. Multishot is just so strong in T16 that you don't really require much of anything. When you have 4 experienced Demon Hunters in a group all playing this build or something similar, you can do as fast as 5-minute full bounty clearance of all acts. And yeah, for us it usually averages out to something like 7.5 minutes with some downtime breaks and yeah, bad RNG involved. But this is something that you can kind of like see as a benchmark, I guess, for the really good groups. So the setup here is relatively straightforward. Basically, we have the Unlocked Essence set for Multishot. We have Yang's Recurve, we have Damage Legacy. These are like the core items of the build, and they buff your Multishot damage by a ton. We combine this with Captain Crimson set. We have Ring of Warrior Granger in the cube. And like this, you only have to wear 5 set pieces and then 2 Captain Crimson. Captain Crimson gives us a lot of cooldown and resource cost reduction, and on top of that gives us tons of damage and damage reduction. These items are what I consider necessary for the build to work, and there's like a few more options that I think are the best, but only after you've become comfortable enough with your DPS and your toughness values. First of all, the attacking arm guards, they are pretty nice because they give you 50% extra movement speed whenever you destroy something, and in campaign zones when you're vaulting around, that happens very easily with Vengeance having these side cannons and rockets flying everywhere, and also you have Vault Action Shot, which shoots 4 projectiles every time you vault, so you basically have this buff almost permanently. If you are struggling with survivability, you can go Wraps of Clarity, but I would definitely recommend trying to sort that out later on. For the rings, we have Focus and Restraint. Focus and Restraint makes it so that in 4-player T16 games you will have a very easy time one-shotting almost every single ED pack and the trash, and then also bosses die relatively fast, so if you do bosses, you should definitely go for Focus and Restraint. If you have a strong Demon Hunter, you don't do bosses, you can also swap out for other rings, something like Wretched's Ring of Larceny, Stone of Jordan, maybe Convention, something like that. Amulet is a Squirt's Necklace. It's just an overall really nice damage boost that is up most of the time, because generally you kill stuff so fast that it doesn't have a chance to hit you, and you get like a free 100% damage boost. Now for the skills. There are 4 skills that are necessary for this. One is the Multishot itself. Then we have the Preparation, which buffs your damage through the Unlocked Essence bonus, and you also want to use it to refill your discipline sometimes. We have Vault with Action Shot. We don't use Vault Tumble for this because you want to break objects, you want to break doors that are in the way, you want to hit enemies for hot pursuit, and Action Shot helps you with that a lot. So you go for this rune instead of Tumble, which costs less, but it's not an issue because you have the Netters. And if you weapon swap to the Netters, you make your Vault cost Hatred instead of Discipline. And this is very important to be an effective bounty runner. So weapon swapping is pretty much necessary if you want to have good times, because you can just run really fast to the destination of your bounty, and then you swap back and you one-shot everything and repeat basically. Generally, weapon swap should not really take much of your time. It's like 1 or 2 seconds, or you do it while you're teleporting to the next bounty already. So half of the time you can just do it while you don't have nothing better to do anyway. And a little trick you can do is you can hold down Alt and right click on both of the Netters. And like this you can swap to your offhand weapon. So you equip one in the main hand, you will equip one in the offhand, and when you hold down Alt. Also, when you're swapping back from the Netters to Yanks, make sure you click on a quiver first, because you can wear a one-handed plus a quiver, but you can't wear a bow plus one-handed. So when you equip the bow with 2 one-handeds equipped, one will swap places with the Yanks, and one will fly somewhere into your inventory, and you'll have to find it again and maybe accidentally salvage it or something. So make sure you click on the quiver first, and like this your weapons will always be in the same spot in your inventory. Next skill is the Vengeance. I have the Sieve rune here. You don't necessarily require Sieve. You can get enough resource cost reduction and Hatred regeneration to make that obsolete. That is up to you. Or if you feel like you're really struggling with survivability, you can go Darkheart. Just keep in mind that for the really long runs where you have to swap to the Netters, you will maybe run out of Hatred. But generally you're fine with that. The other 2 skills I added are a Generator for the Focus and Restraint. You want to get the buff, of course, And then we have Shadow Power, Shadow Glide, which gives you a 30% increase to movement speed. And with all the resist cost reduction you have, this costs almost nothing. So you just want to activate this every 5 seconds when you are vaulting around or when you're fighting, and you'll generally be fine if you don't, mash the button too much. And if your discipline ever drops low, you just press Preparation and you're good. In the queue, we have Dawn for the Perma Vengeance. We have Pride's Fall for 30% resist cost reduction. This can theoretically be replaced. When you feel like you have more than enough resource, you can go for some other option, probably one of the bracers. Maybe you can go with Crumb's belt if you want some more movement speed. So here's a few choices, and we have the Ring of Granger. And the passives, the most important one is Tactical Advantage. It's 60% movement speed, pretty much permanently. We have Hot Pursuit for another 20% movement speed whenever you hit something. We have Awareness. Awareness really helps to make sure that you don't randomly die one shot to some molten explosion or something that hits you while you're channeling a bounty objective or maybe a boss. So yeah, you should definitely have Awareness to just make sure you don't have this downtime when you're dead. And we have Ballistics for the extra rockets. You then don't really need any of the other DPS passives, so you just take the rocket damage to increase the single target, because this is where you'll mostly be struggling at when you kill bosses, but that's about it. The legendary gems are Saze. Saze is the most important one. It's the biggest DPS boost as a UE Demon Hunter. Then we have the Bane of the Powerful, which is like such a solid increase to your DPS, 20% multiplicative and then 50% elite damage. So it helps to just blast through the harder elite packs a bit. And then we have Wrath of Lightning. You don't really need Wrath of Lightning. If you're struggling, you can also go with Molten Wildebeest, for example. That keeps up your squirts more easily with a shield, and it regenerates your life. You can go Gogok if you really want, more attack speed or cooldown or something. Or you can actually go with a DPS gem as well. So, for example, Bane of the Trapped or Bane of the Stricken, if you are mainly killing bosses. So this is also an option. For the stat rolls on your items, I also have the free planner link in the description, so you can check that out in detail. But generally, you want a lot of resource cost reduction, you want multi-shot damage, and defense. So this is about it. And then you just stack the good stats like crit and elemental damage and so on, and wherever you can. Attack speed also helps a little bit for just clearing faster and vaulting a little bit faster. And that's about it for the setup. The gameplay is quite simple. So you vault around to wherever you need to go. You use the shadow power as much as possible, so you get a 30% movement speed buff. Then whenever you need to kill something, you do one cast of generator, and then you just multi-shot everything down. So it's quite straightforward. Keep up your vengeance. It has a permanent uptime if you press it every 20 seconds with the cooldown balance you have. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this little guide here. Happy farming, and I'll see you guys next time.